Hello everyone, welcome to Blue Sea Economics. Today I will discuss about the production possibility curve or the production possibility frontier, where we will understand the concept of PPC, some of the important assumptions of the production possibility frontier, and how the production possibility curve or the production possibility frontier is derived. So let's get started. It is a common fact that irrespective of any country or any nation, the human wants are unlimited. People want unlimited number of things and people never satisfied with limited number of things. But the resources or the means of production which are used to satisfy the wants of the people are in limited quantities. So here some of the central problem arises in an economy. And the main central problem is that the choosing what type of goods and services to be produced and how to be produced, as we have already discussed in our class of the central problems of the economy. So here the economy has to choose what type of goods and services to be produced and by utilizing what type of resources. And the another problem is the allocating means the allocation of the scarce resources which are used to produce various kinds of goods and services. Therefore the economy has to deal with the problem of choosing and allocating of the resources to fulfill the demand of the people and to run the economic activities of the economy. And the PPC or the production possibility frontier is an analytical tool which is used to illustrate and explain the problem of making choices of allocating the scarce resources to fulfill the wants of human. So with the help of PPC or the production possibility frontier, we can show or we can illustrate how the goods and services are produced to fulfill people's demand by utilizing the available or the scarce resources of the country. Now let us see some of the important assumptions of PPC. The first assumption is that the only two goods X and Y are produced in different proportions in the economy, where X is a consumer good and Y is a capital good. The second assumption is that the same resources can be used to produce either or both of the goods and can be shifted freely between them, which means that the resources which are available in the economy can be used either to produce a good X, or we can also use to produce good Y, or we can also use the resources to produce both of the goods. The third assumption is that the supplies of the factors are fixed, but they can be reallocated for the production of the two goods within limits. That means the resources are in fixed quantities. The next assumption is that the production technique are given and constant, which means the what type of production techniques, either it will be a capital intensive technique or it will be a labor intensive technique. The technique to produce the good Y and good X are in fixed and they are constant. The next assumption is that the economy's resources are fully employed and technically efficient. The next assumption is that the time period is short. So these are some of the important assumptions of PPC. Now let us understand how with the help of the PPC we can illustrate the production of the good X and Y by utilizing the available resources in the country. Suppose in the OX axis we measure the good X and in the OY axis we measure the good Y. And here the P1 is the production possibility curve. Now let us assume that in the point P the economy can produce 250 units of good Y, and in the P1 the economy can produce 250 units of good X. And while producing the good Y, the economy can utilize or allocate all of the resources available in the economy. And if the economy chooses to produce 250 units of good X, then the economy can also utilize all of the resources in the economy. But according to the assumptions, the economy has to produce both the good X and good Y. So here under the PPC, curve, that is the PP1, there are various possibilities the economy can choose to produce both of the good X and good Y. Let us see. Suppose at the point B, the economy is producing 200 units of good Y and 50 units of good X. Again, at the point A, the economy is producing 150 units of good Y and 100 units of good X. Again, at the point C, the economy is producing 150 units of good X and 100 units of good Y. So, if the economy chooses to produce at point B, A and C, the economy can produce both of the good X and good Y. Now, if the economy chooses to produce at point B, the economy can produce 200 units of good Y, but it can only produce 50 units of good X. So, that means if the economy chooses to produce more units of good Y, then it can produce less unit of good X. Again, if we see at the point C, if the economy can produce 100 units of good Y, then it can produce 150 units of good X. So, if the economy chooses to produce less unit of good Y, then it can produce more unit of good X. Again, if the economy produces the good X and good Y in the PPC curve, that is the PP1, then the economy can utilize its all of the resources, which means the full utilization of the available resources in the economy. But if the economy chooses to produce under the PPC curve, then the resources will be underutilization. Suppose if the economy produces at the point E, here suppose the economy is producing 130 units of good Y and 80 units of good X. Here the economy is underutilizing its available resources in the economy. So this is how, with the help of PPC we can show how good X and Y can be produced by utilizing the available resources in the economy. So this is the concept of the production possibility frontier or the production possibility curve. So this is for all today. I hope this video has helped you to understand the concept of production possibility curve. Thank you.